In a world where fashion trends change as quickly as the seasons, the allure of fast fashion is undeniable. From glamorous runways to glossy magazine covers, the promise of affordable style is everywhere. But have you ever thought, what lies beneath the surface of those enticing advertisements? And as we chase after the latest trends and bargains, do we ever pause to ask ourselves, what is the true cost of our obsession with fast fashion? Who are the faces behind the clothes we wear, and what are the conditions they endure to produce them? This is the cost of fast fashion with the Atlas shift. Fast fashion didn't emerge overnight. Rather, it evolved through a series of significant shifts in the fashion industry. Its origins lie in the Industrial Revolution, which enabled mass production, making clothing more accessible and affordable. Thanks to departmental stores like Sears and Roebuck, which pioneered mail-order catalogs, democratizing fashion access, clothing became a commodity, which previously was a luxury. Fast fashion truly took shape in the late 20th century, notably with retailers like Zara and H&M. These brands revolutionized the industry with agile production methods and quick trend turnover. Zara, established in Spain in 1975, pioneered fast fashion through vertical integration and just-in-time production, swiftly responding to consumer preferences. As the 1980s and 1990s saw supply chain globalization, fast fashion brands started utilizing cheap labor in countries like China and Bangladesh for cost-effective production. The digital age further sped up fast fashion's ascent, with online shopping and social media altering consumer fashion engagement. Influencers and celebrities shaped style preferences, intensifying trend-driven consumption. Online apparel and accessory sales surged at 18% annually from 2014 to 2019, surpassing overall retail growth. This fast fashion evolution reshaped clothing consumption habits and influenced views on fashion, consumption, and sustainability. According to a decade-old estimate by McKinsey, around 100 billion garment pieces are made every year. A decade that has seen the cultural acceleration of ultra-cheap, disposable fashion, thanks to the likes of Shein, Boohoo, and more. Today, the garment industry employs over 60 million people worldwide. However, these garment factory workers often toil in sweatshop-like conditions, facing long hours, low wages, and a lack of safety regulations. Workers are exposed to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde and heavy metals during dyeing and finishing processes, leading to respiratory issues, skin conditions, and injuries. The constant pressure to meet production targets, coupled with job insecurity and harassment, contributes to high levels of psychological distress among workers. And over 60% of garment workers in Bangladesh experience anxiety and depression due to their work conditions. Moreover, women, children, and migrant workers are disproportionately affected by exploitation in the garment industry. Although women make up approximately 80% of the global garment industry workforce, yet often face discrimination in pay, promotion, and workplace treatment, often earning as little as 75% of what men earn. It is estimated that 80% of apparel is made by young women between the ages of 18 and 24. Most of the workers in the garment industry earn as little as $1 to $3 per day, far below a living wage, and are, also, routinely denied legally mandated benefits such as paid sick leave, maternity leave, and Social Security contributions. It would be heartening for you to know that the top 20 fashion companies in the world make more profit than the entire garment workforce in Bangladesh, one of the largest garment-producing countries. While fast fashion promises endless choices at unbeatable prices, its environmental impact is anything but glamorous. It is responsible for 10% of global carbon emissions, which is in fact more than all international flights and maritime shipping combined. The time it takes for a product to go through the supply chain, from design to purchase, is called a lead time. Today, Zara has the capacity to design, produce, and deliver a new garment in 2 weeks, Forever 21 in 6 weeks, and H&M in 8 weeks. This results in the fashion industry producing obscene amounts of waste. The global fiber production per person has increased from 8.3 kilograms in 1975 to 14.6 kilograms per person in 2022. The textile production processes are notorious for their environmental impacts. For example, the production of one cotton t-shirt can require over 2,700 liters of water, equivalent to the amount an average person drinks in 2.5 years. Around 20% of global industrial water pollution is attributed to textile dyeing and treatment. Not only has this, but cotton cultivation alone accounted for 16% of all insecticides used globally. Additionally, the relentless demand for raw materials like cotton and viscose has led to widespread habitat destruction and loss of biodiversity. Intensive farming practices, such as monoculture farming of cotton, contribute to soil erosion, deforestation, and the depletion of natural resources. Over 300,000 hectares of forest are cleared annually to make way for cotton cultivation. As forests are cleared to make way for cotton plantations, vital ecosystems are destroyed, endangering countless species. The rise of synthetic fibers in clothing, such as polyester and nylon, has led to a pervasive form of pollution known as microplastic pollution. When these synthetic fabrics are washed, tiny fibers shed into the water, ultimately ending up in oceans and waterways. And a single load of laundry releases hundreds of thousands of microplastic fibers into the water, contributing to the pollution of oceans and waterways. With trends changing at lightning speed, garments are worn only for a handful of times before being discarded. The average person now buys 60% more clothing items compared to just 15 years ago, and keeps them for about half as long. This culture of disposability not only contributes to environmental waste, but also perpetuates a cycle of overconsumption and exploitation. The equivalent of one garbage truck of textiles is landfilled or burned every second, leading to over 92 million tons of textile waste being generated annually. The rise of fast fashion has led to a phenomenon known as throwaway fashion, where garments are treated as disposable commodities rather than lasting investments. The fast fashion trends are also a threat to traditional textile techniques and craftsmanship. Mass production and globalization have led to the commodification of cultural heritage, with traditional artisans struggling to compete with cheap factory-made garments. UNESCO recognizes traditional textile crafts as intangible cultural heritage, yet many of these traditions are at risk of disappearing due to the dominance of fast fashion. This loss of traditional textile skills not only erodes cultural diversity, but also diminishes the social and economic value of these communities. One of the often overlooked downsides of fast fashion is that it perpetuates unrealistic beauty standards and promotes a narrow definition of attractiveness. The relentless pursuit of the latest trends and the pressure to fit into standardized clothing sizes can take a toll on individuals' body image and self-esteem. Studies have found a correlation between exposure to fashion media and body dissatisfaction, particularly among young people. Consumer research suggests that exposure to thin models in advertising can lead to increased body dissatisfaction and disordered eating behaviors. The prevalence of fast fashion marketing strategies, such as one-size-fits-all and ideal body imagery, reinforces harmful stereotypes and promotes unhealthy body ideals. One of the biggest challenges in addressing economic exploitation in the fashion industry is the lack of supply chain transparency. Many fast fashion brands fail to disclose where and how their garments are produced, making it difficult to hold them accountable for labor abuses and environmental degradation. The Fashion Transparency Index found that only 17% of major fashion brands publish a list of their suppliers, and even fewer disclose information about their labor practices and environmental impact. According to Fashion Revolution's Transparency Index 2023, a stunning 88% of 250 of the world's largest brands don't disclose their annual product volumes. This lack of transparency in the supply chain allows brands to distance themselves from responsibility for labor abuses and exploitation in their production facilities. Clothing is more than just fabric. It is a powerful form of cultural expression that reflects identity, heritage, and community belonging. However, the rapid turnover of trends and globalized production of fast fashion have led to a homogenized aesthetic in clothing, where cultural diversity is often erased in favor of mass-produced, standardized designs. Fast fashion brands often appropriate traditional clothing styles and motifs from diverse cultures, stripping them of their cultural significance and authenticity. As a result, clothing has become increasingly uniform and devoid of cultural context, perpetuating a cycle of cultural appropriation and erasure. There would be no wrong in saying that the true cost of fast fashion extends far beyond its cheap price tags. It may dazzle us with its glamour and allure, but its true cost to humanity and the planet is far too high to ignore. When on shopping for clothes, we must remember the faces and voices behind the clothes we wear. Let's strive for a fashion industry that values people and the planet over profit, where clothing is made with care and consideration for all.